AITA for telling my husband's sister I can't help her with her kids since I'm failing my kids. I have 3 sons with my husband, 12, 10 and 9. My mom died when I was 8 and I had to step up and raise my sister, who was 2 days old when our mom died, because our dad was a neglectful deadbeat who only cared about one thing. So to say I have experience is an understatement. My husband's sister knows my past but did not feel like I was doing a good job with the boys. She said I was too used to parenting a girl and I had no idea how to parent a boy. She said this because my goal was to teach my boys to be kind, to be open and honest with their feelings and to be good, respectful people. Some people might see it as I was trying to make them more feminine, but you know what? If my boys can be healthy and non-aggressive, then I will consider myself having done a good job. My husband's sister did not agree. She told me I was raising them to be soft, to be bullied, and I was setting them up for failure. At first I ignored her, then my husband talked to her and I basically stopped caring about a relationship with her after she told me I was failing my kids because my oldest son wasn't afraid to have his friends hear him say I love you to me and his dad. She was so certain he would get shit for it. Why she only blames me is probably obvious, but I know she thinks her brother only goes along with what I do. Anyway, she has been struggling lately because her kids are not very well behaved. The rest of the family have been on her case about it and she turned to me, no apology or acknowledgement of what she said, and told me she needed me to help with her kids. I told her that I couldn't possibly help her with the kids when I'm failing mine so badly, I would hate to fail hers as well. She pretty much lost it and told me I was being petty, we're family and how could I not put the kids above any issues I have with her. I told her she had called me a bad parent and I was not going to help her out when she has never apologized or acknowledged that she was wrong. To which she told me again I was petty and should be willing to help her. AITA? NTA. Still, you're raising softies who are gonna be bullied. Also Sil, why are you standing up for yourself against what I said? That's pretty. Me reading this, ? Being kind and loving does not equal doormat. NTA. You can't say someone is shit at raising kids, regardless of their actual outcome, then ask for their help. Even if they apologize afterwards. The absolute lunacy of this person. As delicious as this felt when they asked, I suspect you'll be even more well-fed when your kids end up in good jobs, good homes with good families due to them being well-adjusted and her kids continue to be terrors. Sorry you even have to deal with this person, and it sucks her kids are ultimately going to suffer, but it's on her, not you. NTA sounds like she was feeling insecure about her own parenting and shortcomings and looking for ways to undermine yours and your choices. This was before she was a parent she said those things. Pretty much from the time I had my son she was judgy. No parenting can change people, but becoming a mom didn't for her, and even now I don't think she regrets it more, she wants everyone off her back. NTA. She's the one putting her pride before her kids. If she really wanted help, she'd apologize. She wants to have her cake and eat it too, get the help from you without acknowledging her own past mistakes, and that's not how the world works. P.S. You sound like an excellent parent. AITA for not trying harder to tell my husband I was in labor. My husband, who I do love and does love me, is a distant and private person to everyone. His mom was having health problems and I didn't know until weeks later when I spiked to her. I asked him how she was doing later and he said he didn't know. That's just how he deal with things. He doesn't want to get too personal with anyone. We share hobbies and can have good conversations as long as they are not too personal. It can be off-putting, but I do genuinely enjoy his company. Jump to this last week. I am pregnant and went into labor. It was only a few days before my due date, so nothing concerning. I tried to call his work but his phone went right to voicemail because he was in a meeting. I text him, still no answer. I waited a half hour, then tried again and still couldn't get through. My labor was getting further along, so I called a friend to get a ride to the hospital. By the time my husband checked his phone at the end of the workday, I had already given birth to our daughter. Everything was very straightforward, no complications. We were ready to leave by the next morning. My husband is upset with me though, saying I should have come by his work to tell him it was time. But he has always been distant about work. I know what department he works in but not where his office is in the building. It would have been awkward. My husband has told me what I did was unforgivable. He hasn't called me an asshole but has said I am a horrible person for denying him the joy of seeing our daughter born. AITA for not trying harder to contact him. Info because a lot are asking. I did text specifically that I was in labor. I left voicemail to the same. I panicked a bit and didn't call his office because he likes to keep work and home separate, which means I don't know a lot about his work and I was worried I would overshare to his co-workers by calling, and him not checking his phone. That is a part of his work-home split too. He doesn't deal with anything work-related at home but also just put his personal phone out of his mind at work. It is rare for me to get a response from him at all while he is at work on a normal day. Update, there won't be one. Thank you for the comments and support, but this has been extremely upsetting. From the messaging telling me if I don't leave my husband this second I am abusing my daughter, to people telling me he is going to kill us, and to find out some hacker reported stole this story for some easy clickbait makes me want to vomit. Turning our lives into some sort of show is pathetic. As for my husband, he has been a wonderful father. He likes walking with and soothing when she is crying. He takes on more than his fair share of dirty diapers, and he hasn't hesitated to jump out of bed if she cries at night. NTA, none of these things you listed sound personal to me. They sound like the normal things that partners talk about from day to day. It's also strange to me that he is upset that you deprived him of being in the room instead of him depriving you support as you gave birth. This really needs to be higher. She's so used to him being not personal that she takes it for granted that she isn't entitled to support from him, not even during childbirth. But he considers it unforgivable that she didn't jump through enough hoops for him during labor. I'm worried here. Sharing hobbies but nothing personal is a fine description for casual friends. It wouldn't be enough for close friends, let alone a life partner. And he isn't just distant, he's punitive. I'm worried. NTA, op, but there are some serious red flags here. NTA, every dad I have ever worked with has told everyone they are on baby watch when they are a couple weeks out from the due date, and kept their phone on them, even in meetings, and have had those around them aware that if the baby decides to arrive they will be unavailable. If he wanted to be there, he should have made sure he was contactable. Honestly, you should be furious with him. What kind of absurd person demands their wife who is in active labor comes to their office before going to the hospital? He should be apologizing for leaving you to give birth alone. NTA, what the hell is his deal? He is emotionally distant and keeps his life private from his wife, but expects you, when you are in labor, to come by his work. Man, he messed up, and I bet he knows he did. His wife was due for labor any day now. He should have been continuously checking his phone throughout the day. He didn't check it till the end of the day? Come on, now. That is unacceptable. AITA for screaming at my parents when they went through my phone while I was asleep. This happened this morning and I am still shaking with rage. Let's begin with some backstory. I was planning on moving out into an apartment in February of 2020. Then the pandemic hit, and I was no longer able to move out due to the quarantine. Once the major quarantine was lifted and we were able to go outside again, I still couldn't move out because my mother is severely immunocompromised. If she got the coronavirus, it would be a death sentence. So I was basically stuck at home, doing the majority of the housework and anything I could do to help. I typically do about 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily. Another thing you should know about me is that I am transgender and was in the closet until about 3 months ago. I was outed by my POS brother. For about 2 months, my parents bordered on abusive. They would use slurs towards me, and do their best to make me feel like shit. After I went to my therapist for help and she talked to them, they were no longer abusive, but still very unsupportive. I use Reddit on my phone, and I am on several LGBT meme subreddits, and I download any memes that make me laugh, so I can send them to my friends. I keep my phone password protected, but haven't updated it in a while. This morning, I woke up, reached for my phone and it wasn't there. I left my room and asked my parents if they'd seen my phone. They said that they had it. When I asked why, they said, "We were looking for any contraband." I asked them what they meant by contraband. They responded with, "Anything that doesn't fit with our values," and that they'd found what I was hiding. I was starting to get angry, so I asked what they'd found. They told me, "We found things of an unholy nature, unsuitable for the eyes of any of God's children." It was my memes. They started to chew me out for having content of an evil nature and that there will be serious consequences. I was seriously pissed off. They had come into my room while I was sleeping, taken my phone, cracked the passcode, looked through my photos, messages, and everything else. 3 months of anger at how they treated me exploded. I started screaming about how they were unfit to be parents, how I wish that they had died, how they'd made my life hell for months, how I have trust issues, and PTSD from how they treated me as a child, how they hurt me, and broken me. I screamed for about 10 minutes, and when I was done, my mom started crying. She tried to explain herself, and I told her to shove her excuses up her ass. I think I might have gone too far, but I was so angry that I didn't care. Doctor, my parents broke into my phone, read my private things, and in return, I, probably too, harshly chewed them out. Well, Reddit, am I the asshole? NTA. I would be checking for spyware too. Maybe back up your photos and wipe it just to be sure. Have someone with you when you move your things. Maybe even a police officer depending on how the ones in your city are. Would take off and change my name. Big hug. NTA. They don't support you. They stole your phone and went through it. Too many boundaries crossed to even count. They tried to shame you with their beliefs and called you evil. You hit a breaking point and let loose. You need to leave for your own mental health. Your mother crying was emotional manipulation. You need to leave and to North Carolina with the entire lot. NTA. 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily. How frickin' messy is your house that this is a daily occurrence? Very, very messy. My father is basically a hoarder and my mother is allergic to dust. That means dusting and vacuuming every day. We're always looking for more storage space, so I build bookshelves. My mother's vision is failing, so we install new sources of light about every week. Plus we have a garden that needs raking, weeding, mulching, shoveling snow, etc. NTA. Don't believe the crying. Sending good vibes with the hopes you can move out soon. Thank you. I'm hoping to get out of here as soon as I have the chance.